President Trump in Texas today for a first-hand look at what he calls a humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border. 2 days after a major Oval Office address and day 20 into the government shutdown, which remains at a stalemate. Before he left, the president vowed not to cave on his desired border wall with Mexico and said he has the absolute right to declare a national emergency if he can't reach a deal with the Democrats.
I have the absolute right to declare a national emergency. I haven't done it yet. I may do it. If this doesn't work out, probably I will do it. I would almost say definitely. If we declare a national emergency, we have a tremendous amount of funds. Tremendous.
And while on the ground in McAllen, Texas, the president doubled down on his claim that Mexico will be paying for the wall.
When I say Mexico's going to pay for the wall, do you think they're going to write a check for $20 billion or $10 billion or $5 billion or 2 cents? No, they're paying for the wall in a great trade deal. Billions and billions of dollars a year will be made now as opposed to NAFTA, which was a disaster.
Trump then let a Border Patrol agent explain the need for a wall.
Just yesterday, we apprehended 133 people from countries other than Central America and Mexico. That includes individuals from India, Pakistan, China, Romania, Ecuador, Nicaragua, on and on and on. And so I know we keep talking about the family units and unaccompanied children, and that makes up about typically about 60–70%. We've seen a change over the last couple of weeks where that number is less than 50% of the apprehensions we make here in South Texas. We have 55 miles of fencing in this sector. We started a job in 2006. We need to finish that job. We've got the personnel, we need the technology, we need the resources, we need the infrastructure in order to control this border and manage it.
All right, we're going to take it around the table. Greg, let me start with you. The Border Patrol agent, you've been recommending this. Like, let the Border Patrol agents speak for the need because they know what is going on down there.
Well, it's not just the agents, it's also engineers because we need this kind of conversation requires a lot of nuance. Unfortunately, when you inject politics into anything, the first thing that disappears is nuance and compromise. Politics is the carbon monoxide of thinking. It's odorless, it's colorless, and when it enters the room, all ideas die. And so what they do is, so nuance and compromise, this drives me crazy, is replaced with the prison of two ideas. So even though Chuck agrees with Donald Trump and has agreed with him, he has to go to his respected prison. He has to go to that other prison cell, and he can't come out, even though he agrees with Donald Trump. So everybody has to choose their side, and they have to live in their own prisons. And every day this goes on, it creates more and more libertarians or people who are so disgusted by politics, they're forced to talk to their family instead, which is good. But by the way, the real winner at this border visit, Ted Cruz's beard. He went from Ted Cruz to Cruz Missile. I mean, I look at that, I'm going, I'm not messing with that guy. He should have, if he had grown that beard in 2015,
I agree.
He might be president or vice president.
Would not be Lion Ted.
No, that would be.
We don't need the wall. We just have Ted Cruz stand there with the beard and a jacket, just scare him away.
Have you ever thought of growing a beard?
I've tried. I grow a beard, except it stops around the chin, and it looks.
You mean like you have hair here, but not on your chin?
Yeah, I have like mutton chops. Is that what they're called, mutton chops? Huh. And then I get food in it, which is great.
You look Amish.
What about you? Any beard?
This is like 2 weeks I haven't shaved. I'm like a baby. I haven't hit puberty yet, Dana.
Juan, any beard for you?
Yeah, I can grow a beard. I had a beard over vacation, but I must say I was worried about, those terrorists crossing the border when I saw that guy standing behind the president. Then I realized it was Ted Cruz trying to make up for not a border wall, but the absence of a chin. Well,
So you're saying all terrorists have beards? All terrorists have beards?
No, I'm saying just like you said. What did you say, Cruz Missile?
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you, Jesse, about this. Today, there was an article this morning that a couple of the Democratic freshmen who just won, the Democrats, who beat Republicans, right, in the close races, but they beat them fair and square. Now they're starting to say, we're actually for border security, and this is not necessarily good that we are going to be in a position of not being able to build any coalitions or get anything done if this is our first attempt out of the gate. Do you think that there are cracks in the Democratic opposition to getting President Trump this money for the wall?
I think the cracks are coming from the folks who are burning up the phone lines. That's what politicians respond to, is letters and phone calls. If you start calling and clogging up the phone lines, they think that their constituents are angry and they want border security, and they will respond. That's the best part of democracy. You just pick up the phone and tell these guys what to do. They work for the people, not the other way around. So you could see the needle moving a little bit, and I honestly think this is the first time Trump has used the traditional presidential squeeze play on an issue. You do the Oval Office address, you do the little photo op with the white hat, you do the social media, you ask people to call their congressman, you maybe have a couple rallies or something like that.
You take a trip to the border.
You take a trip, and then you threaten something. And right now, it could be working. What the Democrats are trying to do, though, is they're trying to prolong this so the paychecks aren't paid 1 week, and that inflicts new pain into the conversation, and that may affect the dynamic a little bit. So if they can time the paycheck miss a couple more weeks, even time it with the Mueller report.
You know what I think, though?
Could you imagine that double whammy right there?
Yeah, I still think that.
You said he was wrapping up.
What? Who's wrapping
Mueller.
up? Well,
imagine that comes at the same time as they're still shut down.
Well, but here's the thing. I'm going to run a theory. This is my theory. I don't have no one has told me this, but I think that the president, Jedediah, tomorrow is going to usurp the Democrats, that he will declare this national emergency and be able to say, I ended the shutdown, because the Democrats wouldn't do it. I have the authority to do this national emergency. There's controversy around that, but that he will be able to say, I'm ending the shutdown. I've obviously proved the need for this border fence.
Then he'll get credit for ending the shutdown, but then you'll have everyone coming after him for, oh, you acted unilaterally, you don't care about Congress, you didn't do this the right way. So, I mean, I think that would be, I really think it would be a mistake for him to declare a national emergency, even though I do think he has the authority to do it in this case. I think it would be a political mistake.
Don't you think he's like marching his way up to?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, because he keeps saying now, oh, yes, you know, I'm within my right to do it, and if Democrats don't help, I'm going to have to do it. But to answer your question before, too, I think that a lot of Democrats are coming forward and saying to people, other Democrats, this is 0.1% of the budget we're talking about here. Do you really want to be on record as not wanting to give $5.6 billion for the border when we're asking for $27 billion in foreign aid? I mean, this is not a good position to be in. This is a fraction. And these are the very Democrats who have been on record, as we've said in the past, as coming forth in favor of border security. When you look at the polling around the country, people care about this issue. They want the border secure. They may not want the wall, because that wall has been tied with President Trump, and now they associate that with him. But they want border security. So I think Democrats have to be really careful about this. And frankly, if they are held responsible for the shutdown, I think that's going to be a big deal.
But see, I think that but Democrats are not being held responsible for the shutdown.
No, the polls are pretty clear.
That's obvious.
So, in fact, in David Drucker in the Washington Examiner, they said it looks to him like the Republicans have taken themselves hostage. And they're trying to do things like, oh, you know what, you can get your tax refunds, food stamps won't be delayed for people. They're trying to ameliorate the damage that comes from what is now, I think, a 20-day shutdown, second longest in history. And the difficulty for Republicans, especially Republicans in states like Colorado, Cory Gardner, or even Lisa Murkowski up in Alaska, states either with Hispanic population significant or a lot of federal workers, is that they feel that this is going to hurt them with voters. So they're starting to hear from their constituents, hey, this isn't such a great deal. And to go to what Jedediah was talking about, I think the news of today was that he didn't declare the national emergency. And I think that part of that is that Republicans, maybe I shouldn't say Republicans, I should say conservatives. Remember how strongly conservatives criticized presidents in the past for acting in a tyrannical or despotic way and just saying, I'm going around Congress. Never once in American history has an emergency been declared when the president could not get funding for an issue through the Congress of the United States and went around the Congress. That is not in keeping with our Constitution. I think a lot of conservatives have real problems with it.
I thought the news of the day was that there were people from 140 different countries, or 40 different countries besides Central America, that were trying to cross the border that they apprehended. It's like a United Nations migration into the United States of America, and the Border Patrol said Pakistan, India, Romania. People from Romania, Juan, They're coming too. You can't call the president racist.
No.
He's trying to stop Romanians
Let
too.
me just tell you something. Check the airports if you really want to see people from all over, which is the primary source of illegal immigration. Let's actually have a conversation. One last thing before we go.
Get to the
it's not the
airport,
primary harmful effect.
There's no harmful effect. No terrorist.
Really?
No terrorist has ever crossed the southern border.
You sound like a rich Californian, Juan.
But let me just say,
1 in 3 women get sexually assaulted.
look, that's a
You sound like a rich Californian who wants cheap labor. That's what you sound like.
Here's the real issue. Right now, Politico's reporting that Republicans in the Senate went to the president and said, let's make a deal to reopen the government and then let's talk about upgrading border security.
No, that's a
the
waste.
Democrats said okay, but the president said no.
You're never going to get the border security.
No, you'll get the wall. You might not get the wall.
How many Ronald Reagan mistakes do you have to make where you go to Democrats and you say, you know what, we'll do this. Okay, you cave, and then you never get your end of the deal.
Democrats care about border security.
People are dying as a result of this.
They don't act like it.
We have so much more show to get to, so I got to tease.
Thought you weren't going to say show.
What was I going to say?
It just sounded like something else.
Oh, I don't know what it was. Once again, I don't get the joke.